Sound okay? Sound coming? Sound not coming, yeah? Coming? Sound? It's not coming, sound coming?
Dire.
Oh yeah, it's better.
Headphones.
Queste
Adesso again, questo devo che?
devo chiamare devo.
Devo.
That's. And the jala saboto.
Oh, Canva day, sang so yeah, that figure.
Sound okay? Sound okay?
Yeah,
Sure.
so far.
Yeah. Sanje Chodang Soje Chonam La Jangshu Wadu Dangi Kapsuchi Daji Chijen Jibe Sonam Ki Chola Reje Sanje Drupa Shura Sanje Chodang Soje Chonam La Jangshu Wadu Dangi Kapsuchi Daji Chijen Jibe Sonam Ki Sanje Drupa Shura Sanje Chodang Soje Chonam La Jangshu Wadu Dangi Kapsuchi Daji Chijen Jibe Sonam Ki Chola Reje Sanje Sure. Kayata, Gate,
And so then we begin, as we normally do, by setting our motivation to do whatever we possibly can to attain the state of enlightenment. And in knowing that in order to do that, I must perfect all the trainings on the bodhisattva path. To do that in turn, I must gain a proper understanding of them. And I gain this by being able to rely on a dependable presentation of those texts from a reliable source. And so it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to hear a teaching from the Graduated Path to Enlightenment series of teachings.
That Namjun Nashi Chen, Sourcing to get set up and Rangi and that to Casata, that was called Takia Twitch about Tomashaja Tuba. And she will set to and Casata, Georgia, Deutschland, Juban, Nalajila Juelama, and Yavin the Samota, the Judge, Sham the Line, Casota, Katam, Katam, Casate. Labriba Mengaba and Casote Shubapa ticket and Chamalamosan and Tungit Rangatia Lama Chodomodo Lamocatene and Judicial Hazo Tene and Casa Sanjato and Casata and Watene Casade Tene Janze Papa Najo Tene Rangenia the Power Consumer Pakaja Sovish Masama Mebas San years on such and Ranga Tower the Tinjama gets into some years on switching set up with a check.
And again, as we normally do, we begin by setting up the merit field in the space in front of us. And here it begins with the central figure of Munindra Shakyamuni Buddha, and that again from the streams of light emanating from the heart center of the Shakyamuni Buddha are established all the other groupings in the merit field, beginning with the left and right of the lineage of the profound view headed by Manjushri and the lineage of the extensive practices headed by Maitreya. And behind and above the central figure is the lineage of the consecrated practices headed by Vajradhara. And then at below and in front of the central figure is our own root guru, surrounded by all those teachers from whom we have received teachings. And then again, slightly below that, the four classes of Tantra, all the different deities associated with each of those classes. Then the grouping of the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, followed by the great bodhisattva Aryas, and then the hearers, the solitary realizers, the arhats, the dakas, dakinis, and the dharma protectors, so that you have this certainty that all members of the merit field are present and accounted for, and that also you are yourself surrounded by all kind mother sentient beings.
And then what I'm sourcing together, that I'm you Jordan is and sourcing together, Takaja, Yala to maintain that you are in the society junction, and then sourcing together, and Chila Chitam, that we get Shamli Yach and Chujo Suma, the Chila Chita, Rangi teacher, Mucho Mudu Lama party. That then we get Jungle Lama Longa Cuba ticket here, and that Chila Chitam and the Yach and Casa. Because some of the Jajuju Chamcha and Gelatin, and because Namijila Juga Lamatia and Chila Chicken, which Jaudoji Jam Party, Lamanga Mina and Doscom. And then that Lamangatia and Namijila Juga, that was the Jaudoji Chante and Lamatuan, some of the Gazatan, Chanja and there, and because of the Lamashaja single party. And then Rang Lamate, Lama Tuan Ninga Sundia, some such what is a
And so then, as again we normally do, we make the 7-limbed prayer offering together with a mandala offering to all the members of the merit field, and followed by then the dissolution of that same merit field. Here, beginning with the last members that we established, the Dharma protectors, dissolving into those above, being the dakas and dakinis, and again subsequently those dissolving into each layer above until all those members of the merit field dissolve into our own root guru, just the space in front of the main figure. Then all of the figures in the groupings on the left and right, including the Geluk lineage lamas, at the center of which is Lama Tsongkhapa, and the different Kadampa schools, they all dissolve into the figures of Maitreya and Manjushri, together with their respective lineage lamas associated with the vast practices lineage and the profound view lineage. And then finally, in this section, the figures of the consecrated practice lineage dissolve upwards until we are left with just the figure of Vajradhara. And so this brings us then just to the last of the main 5 figures in the merit field, being the central figure of the Muninja Shakyamuni Buddha, the Manjushri, Maitreya, Vajradhara, and our own Guru. Now these again dissolve into the central figure, beginning with Manjushri and Maitreya coming from the left and right, and dissolving into the central figure. Then Vajradhara dissolving into the crown of the central figure. Finally, our own Guru arises upwards and dissolves into the heart center of the central figure.
What did it? And then that because of the doing the Lama Tuan to a chant and Jamia could do what did it? Lama Tuan to a chant, they took a Jawad Dodge chant, Jawad to a thing at the Saba. What did it? What did it?
And so then we focus on the central figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara as being the embodiment of all Buddhas, and subsequently make our obeisance to him.
다 간제 가서도 남주 저기 페나시네 공개인에 또바 투베고 검작이네 가르치기네 데려 검백합라 왔다 라무가 소신 사장 저 세다 아니 데라 야라도 멘데다 저 소사 tip찬체 아니 데는 소신 수도 라마 통화도 찬다 다 지금 찾아 팀전에 엔디 점내 구도 되는 안다다가라 시네 공개인에 검작을 어떻게 남주 나도 있나 아니 야보야보 어떻게 Toba said, Toba to go the measure, what she was there, and Tillet in Nivachayo. So she also said, and the Jamle could use the gen. What did the gen and Nivatosha and Casana, Toba Java, Sosa de Jama Javina, Toba Ketu Mare, and did the Yala to amend the Japan, Sosa to Judge, what did the check, what did the check.
And so this process of generating the merit field and then dissolving the merit field to end with the central figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara is actually very significant to engage with. And in terms of any meditation we do, whether we're developing the mind of mental quiescence or any other aspect of the graduated path teachings, the subject matter there, it's also very, very useful to begin each meditation in this way, to generate the merit field and then dissolve it to the extent of having the last remaining figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara. And this is, of course, it's fine just to simply visualize the historical Buddha in the space in front, but it said that this brings a more effectiveness to one's meditation, has more power to it, to generate and dissolve the merit field in this way. And in the process of what we are engaging in quite primarily in all these meditations is the process of accumulating positive merit and purifying negative energy, negativities. And that this is why we include 7-limb prayer, offering of mandala and so on. And in this context of doing it in the presence of Guru Munindra Vajradhara makes all of that a lot more effective. It's a more efficient meditation.
아니 되네도 오늘 아니 가서 손대 부수스 다음에 때문에 군도 라마라 통한도 있잖아. 되게 주고달로 나고 통한도 있잖아. 소화도 다가지 대절로 뭐라 통한도 있잖아. 답주고 라고 통한도 있잖아. 소화도 다가다 기도고도 라고 통한도 있잖아. 소화도 다가지 간도고도 라고 통한도 주고도 라고 때문에 군도 라고 통한도 간자 어디 손대 부수스 때 어디랬지?
And then we make the supplication prayer, the stake-like prayer from the miraculous book of the Gelugpas, which goes, My most divine Guru, Lord of the four Kayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of unimpeded Dharmakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of blissful Sambhogakaya, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My most divine Guru, Lord of sundry Nirmanakayas, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara. My divine Guru, embodiment of all Gurus, my divine Guru, embodiment of all deities, of all Buddhas, of all Dharma, of all Sangha, of all Dakas, of all Dharmapalas, of my most divine Guru, embodiment of all refuge, I make petition to you, Shakyamuni Vajradhara.
아니 내가 다 가자제 라리 주고를 빼마다 니마다 다외 된서 고바시 아니 디데도 아니 저 가자제 가서대 아니 라마 통한도 자 젠자 반대 잡으려고 다외 주고를 그런 고소도 우리 손대 살숨데 담비 가서 배 니베 가서 수가 때도 다 산제 고마마도 오버데 제 소소 sab자잖아 아니 가고 어떻게
And so then we set up the invitation seat of a lotus sun and moon disk mandala on our own crown and proceed to invite the replica of the central figure remaining in the merit field with the supplication verse, the invitation verse, of O glorious and precious root Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. And this is recited 3 times. At the end of the first, the figure begins the journey. On the second, at the end of the second, they arrive at the crown. And after recitation of the invocation verse a 3rd time, we are certain that the figure of Guru Munindra Vajradhara is going to remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment ourselves. And we rejoice in this. And then in the course of continuing the process of accumulation of positive merit and purification of negativities, we offer the 7-limb prayer practice and the mandala.
지난 주 타이에 봐서 티나는 좋아데 가서 주제 명화 좀 거네 개주다 다시 냠제 거네 개주 니제 다 주제 명화 좀 거네 개주다 가서 도도 쉬자 말이야 다 다시 냠제 거네 개주다 다 같이 다 같이 다시 잡들 내야 다 니바 다시 냠제 거네서 자주가 셈케베 취니에서 suitela and Mondo Takaja, Semja Tamja Lasa, Semyon Petanium. Semyon Petanium Takaja Tanya Parsuntan, and then about Takaja Semja Tamja Mi Petanium Cheko. Tanium Takazi, Shuta Tanya. And then Takaja Kaja Marshi Tinted Tinso Sumkoba, 6 of my imbasa, 6 of my imba. Not a tunde menga tunje kaso shebatan and kaso da takaje kalkasa nyonga tunde ko da yin kasa rene yila nyonga ma tunje badata konko ko so ngoto tan ne asa takan ngoto tan ta dene je ta de tan ani takshin nyamje lo keba yina ani pike je kaso da nyuba de shukcha yo ite jaju ke sem ke nyuba de shukcha yo ite ta keba jongu yo yin sa wota wota sugu yo wota de cha.
And so that to begin or to continue on from where we left off, we have been discussing the Mahayana vehicle teachings, and we have found that an absolutely vital component of that vehicle is to generate the mind of enlightenment, or bodhicitta. And so we have been looking at among the countless ways of generating the mind of enlightenment, we have centered on two particular methods or techniques. They are the 7 cause and effect instruction, and the equalizing and exchange of self and other instruction. And we have, to some extent, finished the first of these, the 7 cause and effect instruction. And so now we will look again briefly at the second of these main methods, a very powerful method for generating the mind of enlightenment, of the equalizing and exchange of self and others. And this begins by really harking back to the 7 cause and effect instruction, by again reviewing the subject matter of the equalizing of all sentient beings by developing the mind of equanimity. And here this means going through that meditation of seeing one who is a friend, who is an enemy, who is a neutral, and going through the impossibility of holding on to these appellations or these kind of designations of these people. And so we develop a sense of equanimity towards all. And then this is followed again referring to the 7 cause and effect instruction by seeing all sentient beings as one's mother, and wishing and seeing the kindness, remembering the kindness of the mother. And so it's these 3 of equanimity, seeing all sentient beings as one's mother, and remembering the kindness of the mother, that we review again in the context of this equalizing and exchange of self and others instruction. And it said that again we not just leave this as we kind of did in the previous instruction, not just to leave it as mere words, but to engage in the contemplation and meditation here until we are able to really extract a very experiential understanding of what it means, or what that means. And that this is the way we begin this particular instruction.
Anita, Retakaja, Casada, Noato Bala, and Casumzea was Shimura, and Jumzeling, Jumzea was and Chomanguna, and Jumza Samotan, Samotan, and Samotan, what Jig and Jim Noamato to Comso, Noamato Pato, Uncle Mototan, and rather Rangi Tagoto, and the Semja Tamja Several Nina, and a Dakshin Jewish. Dakshin Jewish to the Dashiwale, Kanchi Tata, Shenane, Mudu Java, Dova, Tata, Shendo Chejawa, Saveta Bacheva Chata, so Nashichana, Dakshin Jewish.
And so this process of staying with the subject matter as described here until we are able to get a kind of really visceral experience of what we are contemplating. And this again, as we have emphasized all the time up to this point, depends on our presenting reasonings to our own mind and reflecting on those reasonings until we evince a really strong personal experiential feeling for what we are contemplating. And so this means that we have to stay with this subject matter until this point. And so now they begin the exchange of oneself and others' instruction. We begin by visualizing that we are surrounded by all sentient beings, and that this begins with a quote from Master Shantideva from the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Anyone who wishes quickly to protect both herself and others should exchange herself for others. Do this holy deed in secret. And so this says it's very says very quickly that we really need the best possible means for benefiting ourselves and others is to exchange a self for others, and to give up on our own self-importance and really cherish others. And that here, Shantideva is pointing out that to engage in this activity in secretly, discreetly, and that here it's because that in the context of this kind of practice, that for others, such as those from the hearer vehicle or the solitary realizer vehicle practitioners, they would not be able to accept such a complete dedication of everything with regard to themselves for the benefit of others. And so it's said that one should be quite discretionary in one's practice of this, because it's not for everybody.
So what did it? Konazuge da chida ngaranzula zitana da konzula kaso de ngaranzuge ane kaso de ranjenzen ane kaso de da ranjenzen kuba segura da ranjenzen japchung de da yomar konazo ranjenzen da konzo ranjenzen ngaranzula shapi da garwa konzo nyanjo da ranjenzen yote ngaranzo ranjenzen shapi da ngaranzo ranjenzen koakoe gyujmanda tutu mewa 코나족의 란젠제데 코알레 타네 타바 줍두고도와 좋아 터 줍두고도 이나야 다데 란젠제지 여바 이마 인자 아니 타바 삼레 탐직 잡아 줍두고도 탐직 잡아 줍마도 가서나티 란젠제 오게 지기도와 이나야 나라도 란젠제데 코나도 란젠제 여다 켜봐 주쳐 보여래 나라도 란젠제데 코에 교주만도 줍두고도 동행의 교주만도 줍두고도 다 코나조 란젠제 동네에 타와지다 제도거데 제도거 열때 이나야 란다 셰디가 저 타치바지 제도거도 디카제어서 디 란젠제 제도도.
And so in fact when we consider the outlook of a practitioner on the hearer or the solitary realizer vehicle, there is a sense from their side that a certain level of cherishing of oneself is a necessity. They would see that as being able to really only able to establish one's own purpose, to attain of liberation from cyclic existence for oneself. A certain sense of self-regard, of self-cherishing is necessary. They would consider that if one wanted to adopt the overcoming of self-cherishing that is presented in the Mahayana teachings, and then from their point of view that would prevent them from even attaining liberation from cyclic existence. Whereas, in fact, that even though they have a certain level of self-cherishing, and remember here we're talking about, comparison between the self-cherishing that we have now versus the self-cherishing of what we're talking about, practitioners on the hearer and solitary realizer vehicle. There's really no comparison. Their self-cherishing is far, far less than what we have. However, it's a self-cherishing that may be able to allow them to overcome suffering and to attain liberation from cyclic existence, but it prevents them, it becomes an obstacle to them to going any further, to attaining the state of enlightenment in order to be able to benefit all other sentient beings.
Dende imbaza kasada 지금 준준아소에 이제 통화난게 데니 펜버 6에 다가자 두바상게 좀 된나게 남게 개발에 개발봐도 제바제다 라신 니가라는 저 타치바지라 펜 통화에다 오다 자주가 셈들에 샤바지면 두스 라 자주가 셈들 다 자주가 셈스인데 아니 배 가서다 다가자 지금 생게도 타치바 두투에게다 타치바 두투에게다 로지라다 시디그와 신dio 타치바 두투에게 로지라다 간 자주가 셈스기로와 와라다 랑게 뭐 메시지 랑 생게 좀 쓰네 아니 생게 된두에다 게치주 쓰네 와다 데데 제때와디 개배바도 개바도 제바 제제체 와다 디니 디페마저 레샤 셰 딜레시마 페마저 민도 쓰겠다 다 네바니 데데 디차데라 와데
And again, from the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, from Master Shantideva, he has several verses where he emphasizes this particular point that our own teacher, the Buddha, who from eons to eon to eon engaged in analysis as to what was the most beneficial practice one could engage in that would be of benefit both to oneself and others. And he concluded that this was the generation of the mind of enlightenment itself. And this was absolutely crucial. And so here it's saying that that which is able to overcome one's sense of importance in relation to oneself and to hold others in the place of most importance, that to continue that practice. This is after the result of a great deal of analysis on the point of the Buddha. He concluded that this was certainly the most efficient practice that one could engage in order to attain enlightenment and thereby be of most benefit to oneself and others.
간제제 다신 제국에서 다신 제국에서도 다 시바차신 다 체주에 계제 말에 다신 제국에서 단다포도 토마메바냐 단다포도 니람 주제라 소소 개치부 제 로지 여봐 신스가 대섬 개치부 맞지 아니 신 가셰를 개치부 지바 이네 랑 좀선도 제는 지대 녜 빈자 녜 파마 녜 조고 다디 랑 전제 왕기 자자치 조디기도 와 저들도 다 랑기 지 임베 좀선도 멤버 전에 다가제 녜다 데리 좀선도 멤버들라 아니 대상도 도나 메되겠지 다 딜로데 노디기도 오수고요 노디기도 데레 이마 인자 다다 랑 가세 개침부스 왔나 신기 진낭신기 지바디 찹들라다 셴 개침부스 나 셴스도 치라 도나 마제 디 찹들라 랑 샤제 아니 전진이가 로제바 로고 도수고요 봐 전진이가 로제바 로고 도수
And so then it goes on to clarify what is the actual practice here of exchanging self for others. And so it's saying it is distinctly not simply where I become the other and the other becomes me. And this is not what we are talking about here. We're talking about the exchange in one's own practice of two distinct mental attitudes. We are exchanging the one where we are considering ourselves to be so important, and this is the self-cherishing attitude where it operates at all times in our lives, even in our dreams. We have this sense of my importance, what is everything that to me is of so essential, and so on. And this is, this same attitude. This is also that which then neglects others or ignores others and doesn't take into account their well-being, their purpose. And so we're wanting to change that mental attitude for an attitude which is swapping those two attitudes. So now I will more ignore my own well-being, my own purpose. I will put less emphasis on what's important to me and place the actual key importance on the welfare of others. And so it's here very, very important to realize what is going on here. That here the mind of enlightenment is that which finally sees the contradiction in our present actions, our present attitudes, and is saying you need to actually turn these right around, so that the way in which you previously regarded yourself with all importance, and that now must be focused on all others, and to have that same sense of importance that you had for yourself and place it on others, so that they are now cherished, and that we then pay less importance to our own needs, our own wants, and so on, in order to be able to facilitate this. And so we have to understand also that any sense of cherishing others that we have had up to this point has been very much compromised, because it was, in many ways, the actions that we engaged in were for actually our own benefit to a large extent. To the extent that we have, cherished our relatives, our parents, our friends, those we are close to, and so on. We always felt there was something in it for ourselves. So here, it's kind of really purifying the actions that we need to engage in, by actually really dedicating whatever we are doing totally for the benefit of the other, without paying attention at all or expecting anything from ourselves, for ourselves.
수념도 대화는 수념도 저는 당부 오전에는 아니 소속에다 란젠제 숙체 저도 아니 마기바디 숙체 체도 줘야지 아니 랑게 연대 저나 가되게 생게 연대 저나 마가게 지 용한테가 내가 란젠제 제대로 열어 좋았다 랑게 현재 봤으면 아니 현 속에 연대 줘봐 이나 랑 가나다 떠나 쇼죠 그러 근데 현재도 타이어 봐先他也把人的，原来他也把教的，原来他也把的，没学原来教完以内，先个原来教的，说是基本用过了吧？我就谈到这里面的吧，让了原来教的基本用的，让个照顾边家的原来教的，说是基本用的个，让个像马嘎萨起来原来教的，说是基本用嘛的，这个开始教完是呢，让个先现在当个用嘛的吧，先现在马当家让现在的要把人上。소소 마가사질라 생각 연대 전에 기부요 말해. 소소 마가사질라 생각 교연 전에 소소 기부요래. 딱 내가 그거 지금 가르쳐도 란전적인 제대로도 와. 다 셰전제 바시 여바 있나? 아니 생각 연대 컨디션에 소소로 쳐 기부요 되지. 가나요 되지. 소소 개체 붙여서 되게 아니 연대 셰바지가 전에 기부요 와.
So, when we develop that sense of cherishing others, and we are able to live our lives accordingly, the side effect of that is a natural sense of well-being, a natural sense of taking delight in life itself, because we are able to appreciate others in a whole new light. And it's very, very important to do that, and to see that to appreciate the qualities that others have brings actual delight to ourselves, and a greater sense of value to our own lives. And then we kind of like contrast this with the attitude of self-cherishing, And that when we have this mind of self-cherishing, and we are associating with anybody else, we're spending time with anybody else, that you see, the longer that we go with that person, the more unhappy that relationship becomes, because we are only able to see our own qualities, and we're not able to appreciate the qualities of others. And so therefore unhappiness is a guarantee, and conflict is very much a part and parcel of that as well. And so it's here, in order to be able to understand what actually brings a sense of rejoicing and delight and well-being in our own lives, is this much deeper and more pervasive appreciation of the good qualities of others' good qualities. And that's just as we enjoy when people appreciate us for our better qualities, we should always understand that others have good qualities, and by noticing them, we can bring that sense of delight into our own minds more and more and more. And that we can see also that when we engage in kind of this sense of dislike for others, that it's an automatic sense of a downer. It brings us down, and that it shows also that by nitpicking about others' qualities, we show our how incomplete our mind of cherishing others is. It's not generated properly as yet, and that's but the proper result of the mind which really cherishes others is an attitude in one's own life where you feel a great deal more delight and a great deal more happiness. And so here the purpose is to make manifest, to promote the good qualities of others, and to be more discreet or even hide one's own qualities, and to then very quietly rejoice in the good qualities of others.
Because best the rangi ane because the yonde yaje matan ke chamare rangi sangbe yonde yaje tangore yina yang epataz je omare be.
So here when we say hide our own good qualities, this is in no sense kind of leaving them to kind of atrophy or to ignore their improvement. We should work to improve our good qualities, but to do so discreetly and in no sense advertise them.
장고시나 대바치부 쳐도 둥구요 말와 둥구요 말에 왔다 가스디가 란체제 온게 제도 딱 이제 닝제보 자차고 여메게자 말에 라라 란체제라 뇌게도 란체제라 팬도고도 란체제라 뇌게도나 다 직대요 란체제라 팬도고도나 노대요 딱 이제 다들 야고 마야 게자 말에 란체제 공배도 저거도나 소지지단의 노대요 다 소지지단 가래냐면 란전제의 숙충의 조 현전제의 숙체의 체의 조에게 즉 뭐에서 균의 레거도는 딕딕되게 요다.
So here again we have to be quite subtle in our analysis here to be able to understand what in our behavior is promoting the self-cherishing attitude and to put a stop to that, and what is in our attitude is compromising our self-cherishing attitude, and that's the behavior we need to adopt. And so, for example, if we look at the situation at the moment when we talk about wanting to really appreciate the other's qualities, the other's good qualities, and to hide our own good qualities. This kind of contrasts, doesn't it, with the way that we normally behave, in that even if we don't have very, good qualities, we nevertheless can pretend. We often tend to pretend that we have, that we are, kind of better than we are in reality. And whereas when we are with others and that they have got clearly, good qualities on display, we tend to belittle them, and we go, well, that's not such a big deal that they are so good like this, and we denigrate. We do not in any way promote that good quality. And so there's these tendencies, these degrees, whereby it's clear that we are operating more under self-promotion for ourselves, and we don't like to admit that other people have great qualities and good qualities. So here, this is what the meditation on self-cherishing and cherishing of others is concentrating on, is focusing on. Because if we continue in this way, we have to admit that it is not in harmony with the Mahayana ideal. And here it's very important to understand that if my behavior in any way promotes harm, then that is something that is born in self-cherishing, and that I need to cut that out. And so any behavior that I engage in that promotes the welfare of others in any way, that is a positive thing, and I should recognize it as such, and I should try to promote that as much as possible. So it's a question of really being able to isolate what is correct and what is incorrect in terms of our behavior.
What did that? That the in Baisa, the day was and a ranchen, say the Kyoka, Setila conducted Nutu, and Chimapajala conducted Nutu, and ranchen, Jen, and Yaguchi Java in there, and Koeti Gusam the Teletan Jotumudua. Teletan Jotumudua. What I did, Samlotan and ranches and Kyom Kotuba, Samlotan. And Shen Jenzenti and Yunde can do. And Shen Java and Setila Chashana Drobota, not Dromoda, the same thing that's how you can be mounted to the edge. Drotia. Or did it? And you consider what the legend and Chima Pendula, the Gawa San and Santo Troy, the Joe Lutelas what and Sanjay Koma top to yet. What the girl some of the ranches and Kyon Kotumania, some of the Shanches and Yundem Kotumania, some of the and Jenzin Ni and Javache, Tachin, and Tachin, and the Chicken Taka, Donning and Yamlene, Chen, Takaja, Casota, Jenzin compared to Tiger, Tablam Chedra, what did the check?
So this then is the simple but extensive process of being able to constantly examine the self-cherishing attitude for its faults, to constantly delineate the different disadvantages of the faults of the self-cherishing attitude. There is no progress that can be made in our spiritual lives if we continue with the self-cherishing lifestyle that we have. There is no way we can even establish the causes to attain liberation from cyclic existence, let alone attain the state of enlightenment itself for the benefit of others. And so we have to constantly say, like, how much of a burden really is the self-cherishing attitude, and that to constantly engage in it like in that way. At the same time, we need to constantly highlight the benefits of the mind which cherishes others, and to see what a marvelous attitude to promote, even for this life, to see how much more joy we have in this life, how much more profound and heartfelt will be our connections with others, our friendships with others because of this, the closeness that is felt when one really cherishes others, not to mention how this will be extremely beneficial for our future lives, to gain precious human rebirth in the future, to proceed to liberation and ultimately to the state of enlightenment itself. And so it's this process of, on the one hand, kind of gradually eradicating the influence of the self-cherishing attitude in one's life, because we have seen the faults of it, we have seen the disadvantages of it, and then gradually increasing the mind which cherishes others in our lives, because we have seen the advantages of it. That and as this is recommended, that we can engage in this practice doing the taking and giving practice on the breath, known as Tong Len.
what the Chataka, Jumze Chomanguna Samlotan, Shenzi get up chair. That the day Shenzi, Jumze Ditone, they ought to Tungamituba, and then Totaniba Tantajiba, Tende Jumzenchige, and Shencheva Chibasuna, Kiva Ibayina, and then they Shen, the social never Kiva Yinaya, never Kiva Yinaya, Shen, de la Pemba to a lotte, and never much age. Jumzen Garrison did Pemba to a lot D, and did they want to do him into a Jumzen Jabba in Bayinza, so never Kiva Yinaya, never taken consult, they wanted to do him into what the Dedicated. Dedicated one. Jumzen D to the Kiva Yina, but then got you.
So it's said that one extremely important reasoning, and of course this is where it really is at, of establishing the logic and reasoning behind the exchange of self and others in this way, is that we have to consider that whoever it is, that they want happiness and they don't want suffering, and they are the same as us in that regard, whatever the sentient being, just like us. Yes, they want happiness, and no, they don't want suffering. Likewise, they have equal right to that happiness and equal right to avoid that suffering. And that's a very powerful reasoning. And that's completed by understanding that I am only one, whereas others are infinite. And so what is more important, one or infinite? And so we develop that reasoning in our minds to consider that all others are more important in establishing for them happiness and in relieving them of any suffering. And this is important in the context of when we think about others or engage in others, and then they engage in harm towards us. Here we, of course, experience the pain of that harm, but our mind is not shaken with regard to the reasoning, that our reasoning is centered on the importance of their happiness and the importance of freeing them from any suffering. And so this should be kind of underpinning our attitude, and that we don't engage in retaliation, because we are far more, our mind is far more concerned and impressed by that reasoning of the importance of their happiness. And so that it's very, very important that we maintain that attitude of benefit towards others based on that reasoning, even in the context where they are harming us.
And sugar the Pontaji like Chavajuda, Michibarete, in a sugar, Zawakesa de la Pondage, and Novaki, some of your days, you good one. Novaki, you good water, and there was a news now that good one. Mambu good water, what did you good water? The character also, Zawaki, or the Zawadi 교견 때 삐다고 요 말이야. 삐다고 매와 인사 교견 때 교태 원도 안자와 교태 주도. 다 대화도 제 동네 밑에 좀 센데 이마이나 아니 소소는 내가 개와이나 대화도 제 동네 밑에 당자 대대요라. 이 교태요 말아. 뭐다가 이제 좀 전에 시비 켜봐 주고도 와. 뭐 되네.
So we can see the limits of our compassion. That when we have a friend who is suffering, and that it brings forth that sense of compassion and wanting to benefit them, to relieve them in some way. But we can see how that attitude can harm. If that friend who we are, quite empathetic towards, if they were to change their attitude and to harm us, then that compassion is gone, and actually we don't nominate them as a friend anymore. So they're gone. I cut you off. That's the end of it. And we can see how volatile that is. That we can be quite friendly with somebody in the morning, and even by evening they are somebody that we'd rather harm than be friendly with. So we can see this attitude that even all the time we see examples of it on the news, etc. And so what does this show? It really shows that our attitude, our general attitude towards others is incomplete. It's not founded on valid reasoning, that it changes like the wind. And that's something that we need to work on. And it said that if we establish the reasoning for our relations with others, being that they want happiness and they don't want suffering, and that is irrefutable, and that all of our behavior, all of our actions are underpinned by that reasoning. They said that will hold even when the attitude from the other it changes towards us, that we don't change our attitude of benefit towards them. That's very important. So this is a very essential point.
다 되네 이메이자 아니 랑게다 저기 좀생个토네 아니 현제바 좀생 양다가 토네 현제바서 제바 젠지지 개바 이나 아니 현대가 소소 네바 개바 이네 네바 개바데 펜토베 주르 주와쇼 모아지기도 와 다시 시우지로 와 술라 네바 개바데 안티게 디게 제네 그 펜토베 주르 주와쇼 다다 수 네바 개바디 마오발은 얘기 디 스베 냠렌지네 게 상게도 chöge tu tambo de nge dile chen to ba shos ta nyomo go ondo ma do wa chen ne ani chi ka so de chö tu be twenge lam ge dro so to de chung do.
And so that when we have established this exchange of the self-cherishing attitude for that which truly cherishes others through valid reasoning, then in all circumstances it should apply if we have developed it correctly. And that means specifically when somebody harms us, that we can only think of what is beneficial for them, and that we don't buy into the harm. We see, in fact, this interaction as a condition for us being able to develop benefit towards them in some way, to cultivate the idea of being beneficial to them, of developing our patience, so that we can dedicate when we become enlightened, that they will be the first that we will bring benefit to, and in all ways to take the opportunity, the circumstances of that situation to put our mind into the path, onto the path, and to see it as a spiritual opportunity for us to benefit.
Wata dile tene ane ta ale nega bine tunge meba chagi duwa she namju ngara zu chaba ina ran chen ze shama du chona ane neba ke chawa da neba ke ga mutu ne de ga yo ma de ne semge magi ba chene ane ko mizi ko ra magi ba chene de de ga dile tene ane be chagdang ga lo shibuji gombe du chine ane le nyeba mutu ne sa de ga ta samlo tangda dile tene le nyeba mutu ne ma sa ye and never give a tigi, pentobe draw a beju down to do, never be ne kiba, barbeba, sem she did. 아니 디 뇌게바데 추추베 튕겨를 친대 뭐 땡기 디주베 주주베 당도 하다 근데 이번 인사 사게 좀 된데 깨바네 깨바바도 제바제는 디니 편바스 좀 제대로 들어와.
So we can contrast, that particular scenario that we've just described, where with the more mundane attitude when somebody harms us. So what normally occurs there, isn't it? That one is that we are disturbed in our own mind, we experience short-term unhappiness, and because we are now reacting angrily towards that harm, we are creating negative karmas that are laid on our mind stream. We are adding to the negative attitudes of attachment and aversion in our own mind streams. And so there's a very extensive harmful consequence of acting on the basis of our self-cherishing. And now we contrast this with the scenario that we gave, where even though somebody harms us, we respond with the mind which cherishes others, based on the reasoning that we want their happiness and they don't want their suffering, just like they do. And so here, because we are patient, we don't react, we don't experience that short-term upset of mind, so there's no short-term unhappiness, and that also we are able to transform that harmful scenario into virtue, into benefit, and thereby reducing the influence of self-cherishing, and not laying down any negative karmas, and we are promoting positive qualities in ourselves as opposed to attachment and aversion. So you can see, when you look into it, there is a very extensive, comprehensive contrast between operating through self-cherishing and operating through the mind which cherishes others.
디 아니 교회 십조하다 현천제의 연대 십조 다 초망보네 삼로다네 아니 현제바스발라 때네 다 지금 아니 가서 랑다 현니가 되는 타치바 두두에 두두에 랑다 되 현니가 되는 타치바데 지금 내가 다 타도다 가바이네 아니 도다도 모두도 두두에 좀 되기도 와다 디게 된줄 삼로다와 이나 아니 나라서 미래 미인도 남주요래 남주요도 그 삼로 양고지 땅만 이만나 뭐트에 주에도 아니 데 뭐트베도나 양내 양도 배준제 양내 양도 배준 제바이나 남신나 아니 배줄라 맞대 봐라 남남 슈슈 용도에 다 차이구라 데 차이 좀제 가르스나 데네 제들 잡대 참아요래 잡대 참아요바이나 고파 탐에도 배요래
So this is the process whereby we again and again look into the faults of the mind which is self-cherishing, of mind of really, this mind which considers myself and everything to do with me as being most important, and really seeing the faults of that again and again and again, and to again combine that with the attitude which can appreciate the great benefits of cherishing others, and that it is an attitude of mind which is, brings short-term happiness to ourselves and joy, but also it lays down the foundation for ultimate benefit as well. Not just, and it's the attitude of mind which fulfills the purpose of both myself and others. Remember that it's not just about me. It's it's an attitude that's very complete and comprehensive. And so here, it's understood in the context of our being human, our most distinguishing characteristic being our own intelligence. And so it behoves us to be able to use that intelligence in the wisest possible way. And that means to again and again and again, this is initially from our standpoint, again and again and again to make effort at this distinguishing of the faults of psychic, faults of self-cherishing, versus the benefits of cherishing others again. So you make the effort again and again and again to the point where it arises naturally and effortlessly. And that this is very, very important, that this can arise if we base our behaviors, our actions on valid reasoning. And it's because it's a characteristic of valid reasoning that it can be expanded, it can extend to its perfection, and that it is applicable in all situations.
다 남주다는 거라도 저다 잡아나 소소라 미치고 프레스 연대 잡아나 땡큐 레비다 토지다 다 남시나 현재제도 공부 숙청부 좀제도 현재제도 공부 숙청부 전부 차와이나 검도와이나 라라 네바 개간질래 미치고 연대 쳐서는 안 소소바 땡큐 랍투에치 자기와 그래서 디 소소 셈들라 네바 개간데 개치부지 쓰고 여바 인자 개체부 짜체부 쓰고 여봐서 아니 들려 연대처럼 토지체 랍두면치 단다 토지체 랍두고 요 말해.
And so we have this habit of thanking, saying thank you to those who give us something or to help us in some way. And so it's here when we
미지가 소소 캐나치 약혼도 캐나치 연대잖아. 그래서 토지체 라기도 와. 배는 캐나 닝제보들라나 토지체 라이다. 아 캐나 수부 약보달라나 토지체라 딱까지라 캐나 연대 약보도 가라나 토지체라 지어로다. 다 이나 소소 마가사 소소라 너바 개가자 미지가 연대 주나 소소시라 기부도 와. 따라서 내가 원래 기부다. 다 이나야 현재제도 공부 약보 차와이나 소소라 너바 개간질래 미지가 아니 연대 줘서나 소소 토지체 랍두겠지. 가서 뒤 소소 쌤 뭐 차대요 봐. 짜증 쓰게 봐.
And so, like when somebody, praises us for some good quality, tell us that, oh, you're so good, you're so compassionate, or you're looking very well, and so on, and we enjoy that. We kind of like that, and that we think that's a good thing, and that we say thank you. But of course, we have a very discriminating attitude because of what people think of us. However, when we develop the mind of this exchanging of self and others, of really exchanging the attitude of self-cherishing for the attitude whereby we cherish others. And at some point we will be able to develop that to the point where when somebody harms us in the act of harming, we will actually be able to thank them. And that's being able to say thank you, because deep down we know what's happening, we know what the correct response is from our side, and we hold them so close, we see them as so important that whatever they are doing, we are able to extract the benefit from them and to make it a positive situation. So it's a worthy occasion for thank you from our side.
소소라 팬도 마도로 다 소소게 아니지 가서데 남주 배주 땅에 팬도가 있어요. 저도 그 팬도 유견 차वर 왔다. 그러와. 다 남주 배주 로바 땅에 아니 소소 팬 모도가 있어요. 뇌계가 요마. 남주 배주 양 다발 땅에 뇌계가 지다 다지 그 뇌가 마니어스 근데 소소 삼로 땅다라 라리기도 와. 소소 삼로 땅다라 라리기도 와.
So it's really a case of seeing what is beneficial or not beneficial in the way we respond or react, isn't it, to all situations. It really comes down to that, that we can say somebody is in process of harming us, and that we react to that with anger or irritation or unhappiness. It's a sense of like a misuse of the situation. We have to, as human beings, be able to see that such a reaction there is really not beneficial. It doesn't help me, or doesn't help them, it doesn't help anyone. And so, and to understand that whether an act is harmful or not, it really depends on what we think of it, isn't it? How we regard it, what's our perception of it. And so here, it's the demarcation should be on the basis of is my response here beneficial or not beneficial? And to always choose what is beneficial.
Dedar samde wata dedu de kar samlo tangurasana ran chebar sone ran kawa shinto rangi jan shen chebar sona shen kawa gyukutuwas juso denza shen yang rangi pusun sokwa shik chebar dugu yorwata shen suyi bada soso pusun sokwa chebar dugu yor dune kowa thoma meba ne dadya bata ran chebar sunwe ran shinga duen kanya ma chubar ma se dungen na sokwa nyongto ta Shen da chua sheba jina samlo tana shen mi sheba ke jaba chua sheba shen yang da chua sheba jina samlo tana da ngozo kontu ine rang ge chebo zena so so la da ga che de twen ge da ya bo jo na so rang ge chebo zi ge yo ba ran ni pu so so ma shi cheba twen ko wa thoma me ba ne da de ba to rang cheba su re cheba su re de an da mu ne da ne pen to ka de yo ba ba tu wa ma se a dong en na so ba da to si ze ne wa 남에게 봐겠다 동네 디마뇨 샤워 요 말이고 노도서 데데이버데 데나 주주네 지 호텔.
So this process of the exchange of self and others. So it's saying here that this is not simply a matter of I becoming the other and the other becoming me. It's the exchange of these attitudes of mind. So on the one hand, we have this attitude whereby we are kind of obsessed with our own welfare, self-cherishing attitude, and we have this attitude which disregards the other or avoids them or neglects others. And so here we want to change that around by taking the attitude where we neglect ourselves more and reduce that sense of self-obsession to the point so that we can cherish others and this attitude of mind. So it's a question, okay, on the basis of why is this proposed? So if you look at it, examine in our own minds what attitude we have towards self and others, we can see that it's very clear that the attitude where we cherish me or my or myself, it's something that arises automatically. And at the same time, we have this general attitude of really avoiding or neglecting or disregarding others. And so we can see at that point, we need to think in this way, that because I have some sense of enjoyment, because I have this attitude of self-cherishing, I must conclude that if I cherish others, others must feel the same if they are cherished as well. They must really enjoy being cherished. And so that's one reasoning. And the other reasoning here is saying that, because I have just spent so much time in cyclic existence, since beginning this time, basically, desiring only the best for myself, and really chasing this through the attitude of self-cherishing, it's reached this point where not only have I not gained that excellence for myself, but in fact, I have only experienced a real multitude of sufferings on the basis of that. And so it's the reasoning here that this attitude of self-cherishing, where I constantly am looking out only for myself, saying it doesn't work, it doesn't bring the happiness that it promises, it brings only suffering.
rata 주연 참아 치도 다 가져봐 있는 랑게 전부세는 제대로 와 아니 딜라데네 답에나 지금 체딜라 있네 아니 지금 배나 정가라 저거다 다 요라만 보죠 팀다 요라만 보죠 용 되게도 와 용 되게도 와 아니 미 통라 줘야다 만 보죠 얘네 사베다 소소 되게 요나 소소 야보 줘나 저는 지금 요르면 날 독자 줘나서 지금 수간 요 말와 얘네 되게 그 랑제제 온게 제대로 와 제대로 와 아니 다 대자마자 아니 지금 답변을 추짐송 지금 잡아 있네 랑제제 온게 제대로 아니 저 가서도 코에 유지면도 코에 디기 유지면도 저도고면도 와. 이제 야고지 잡아 있네. 코에 디기 유지면도 저도고면도 와. 그러니까 대학 가르쳐서 란체서 온게 제대로 와.
And so that again to really this reasoning points out just how debilitating it is the mind which cherishes others. You know that people who steal. That's promoted by the attitude of self-cherishing. People who kill, that's motivated by self-cherishing. People who engage in sexual misconduct or lying or divisive speech, it comes back to somehow we consider, my welfare to be most important. That self-cherishing, self-obsession that we have. And this, what does that lead to? What are the consequences of that kind of behavior? It's, prison. It's acting unlawfully. Your reputation is shot to pieces. You are unhappy in the short term, and you are laying down causes, of course, for lots of suffering in the future. And so it's kind of like nobody wants these bad results, these negative results, but they don't connect that they are the result of this self-obsession, self-cherishing attitude. This is the real genesis of all of this suffering. So we need to be very, very clear on that. That even if we engage in good actions motivated by self-cherishing, they cannot create the causes even to gain liberation from cyclic existence. That this is not possible. And so we can see that self-cherishing itself is something that has zero good qualities, nothing to appeal for it at all.
다가는 시그 저기 코알은 예바 주는 돈이 워숨도 대와 또와 있네 란젠젠데 안에 저기 타직도 려토 마소나 아니 시달라 농도도 와 시달라 농다나 아니 택바 가서다 심제 탐 가서다 심제 탐제가 되는 쪽에다 바자 랑도야 조금도 와 어때랬다.
And so it's saying here that even if we generate a direct realization of emptiness, thereby being able to gain liberation from cyclic existence, we will, fall into this extreme of peace, and that we will not be able to proceed any further because we have not generated the mind which cherishes others, which is, of course, the essential point of developing the mind of enlightenment itself. And so we're kind of like we're stuck, really unable to go any further.
근데 이번 인사 되는 준주래 지된 대화 진행바 대군 신대 되는 지금 동안 지바 대고랑대 되는 중스 만다샤다 지주고 지바랑게 되는 동아시게 되는 얘기 해봤도 다대 시행이 동에다 양다 제와를 맞잖아 산제니도 미조저 코아나야 대화매 제수마다르자
So from the Bodhisattva's way of life, whatever joy there is in the world, all comes from desiring others to be happy. And whatever suffering there is in the world, all comes from desiring myself to be happy. But what need is there to say much more? The childish work for their own benefit, the Buddha's work for the benefit of others. Just look at the difference between them. If I do not actually exchange my happiness for the sufferings of others, I shall not attain the state of Buddhahood, and even in cyclic existence shall have no joy. And so really the conclusion is here that we must develop the attitude which cherishes others, because this is the basis even for our own happiness. This is the way we have to see it.
가서나 랑도 원에도 수 주고 도스나 자주 선바서 주고도 나라도 랑도 이해서가 좀 랑도 좀 두고면도 랑도 원에도 수 주고서 자주 선바서 주고도 가르스나 자주 선바서 심제 셴게도 셴제발 선바라 때네 아니 랑도 가서다 랑신이가 되어 줍도 랑도 되어 슈로 줍도 다 랑도 원에도 수 주고도 자주 선바서 주고도
So here it's, to really conclude that the only attitude that really fulfills our own needs, our own purpose, is the mind of enlightenment, generating the mind of enlightenment. We think we are working for ourselves. We think we are working for our own happiness. But in fact, we are misguided in that thinking. This is not how we actually attain happiness, ultimate happiness for ourselves at all. But the mind whereby we really work to attain the state of enlightenment, to benefit all sentient beings. On the basis of that, we take the causal side of that to cherish others, is the actual means by which we fulfill the purpose of both self and others. And this is something we have to understand clear.
어디로 다들 이마에서 저기 가서다 가서 로아다 간자 저기 랑게 되어 문에 장내도 수 주고 줬으나 아니 계세 다니 좀 주고도 와 계세 다니 좀 속에 아니 랑게 되어 문에도 근데스 주고 요메티 킹기도 와 당가라도 랑게 좀 쓰고 요때 이나 랑게 되어 문에 랑게 주신 거 요마래 좀 마시 발라 때네 아니 주에도 랑게 되어 주고 요 저거 요때 먹어야 돼 랑을 동해 줄 때가 차득도
So that to be clear about it, that to really establish my own purpose, to fulfill myself, I really need to develop the mind which cherishes others on the basis of the whole line of activities that are related to what are the activities of the children of the conquerors, to attain the state of enlightenment based on the mind of enlightenment itself. This is the way in which I fulfill my own purpose, to fulfill myself. And that the methods that I am currently using to do so, to try and establish life for myself, to gain fulfillment for myself, says we can see that not only does it not do that, but we are basically just inspiring a whole plethora of unwanted suffering for ourselves in that way.
가서데 나라조 나라조고 또바 샤자 투베게 아니 콩게 제바 남달때 셴토에 도스라 망데 셴다 지주고 지바랑게 된자 도와시기 나라조 지바스 딱 가야 마신게 삼로 땅 바두게 지바차 대도와 가서 지바랑게 된자다 도와시기 된자 진리게 켜바 되었어 그러다 다데 셴게 동네다 다 소소 다문에 전에 다리 밀리게 아니 산지게 때바데 제 대바치베 최다 제네다 남주 도스 조단의 도스 미르 도스 통해 요에 다 도스 셔럽 미도 체데베 갑들라 다게 생게 동네다 다 양다바지 다 제투바 맞제바 이나 상게니도 미주 다 되네 맞제바 이나 아니 나라도 상게 공부 두긴 두고서 두테 요 말했어 미주제 아니 다 맞죠 아니 가발레에서는 매번에 차고 말다 코알 내데 그래서 코알은 대화 요 말했어 대화매 제 숨바다 좀
So as it says in these verses, where it points out, what need is there to say much more? The childish work for their own benefit. The Buddhas work for the benefit of the other. Look at the difference between them. The Buddha has attained enlightenment. We're still stuck in cyclic existence. And here it's saying, if I do not actually, exchange my happiness for the suffering of others. And so even here, where I'm born as a human being, I've met with the Dharma, I've got some sense of wisdom in my attitude, but I have to up the ante here. I have to really step up and say, here, if I do not actually exchange my happiness for the suffering of others, I shall not attain the state of Buddhahood. But and even in cyclic existence shall have no joy.
다 간제제 개치유데 셀라 페버 두베데 셀라 페버 두베데 레도와 다 셀라 페나 냠네 바가셰게 다니 쳔보 가셰게 아니 라 아니 베상게 심제르 돈주 데데 고바 데레스 마다잖아 아니 탑시 셴바토네 아니 소소 녀송라 깨네 깨바네 깨바보다 녀송라네 녀송로 유베 심제 되게다 되게 아니 타바다 탑지 소소 깨와 되게데 깨와 가도 되게 대다를 미네 대다 타바다 탑지 깨바 고마도 소소 심제 찌르 펜고다 깨바네 깨바도 아니 베 냐왈 내고데 내기 녀송라 대고자 땡이 있어서 데데 페바 주원도 페바 다원도 데 생게도 주원도 데 녀송을 깨기면 도와 그래서 녀송을 깨 주데 미게 주본 거 주주 마송을 깨기 열어 봐 데 심제 샬라 페바 주베치다 랑 녀송을 깨 페바 땅거 열때 아니 녀송을 깨주 살아 다베신을 깨 주도 다베신 가서 그 릭트베 줄에 릭트베 제부 연구 열면 또 소소 되바 연도 쪽에 스케자 말봐 다 릭트베 줄에 릭트베 제부 연구 열어서 되고 나라도 되에다 타바다 탐지 깨바 되고 열때 두베 주데 녀송을 깨 주주버서 저 야모다 마도 되기도
So this is the most important aspect here is to imbue one's whole attitude of mind with the ideal of benefiting others. And so some practitioners even can, with that attitude of mind, even make aspirational prayers to be born in the lower realms. They say, even if to be born in the lower realms, if I was born there, if it was able to benefit just one sentient being, may I be born there. May I be born in the hells, in the lower realms. That is absolutely no problem for me. And so, what happens as a result of those people making such aspirations? Are they reborn in the lower realms? No. They are more likely to be born in a pure realm. Why? Because to be born in the lower realms, you have to engage in the non-virtues of not keeping the 10 non-virtuous actions, of engaging in the non-virtuous actions. And here we can see that it's a karmic attitude here, that the cause must correspond with the result, and vice versa. The result must correspond with its harmonious cause. So if you're creating virtue, then you're going to have a beneficial result. And so here it's very important that some practitioners have such a strong sense of the importance of benefiting others that they can make such aspirations. Whereas we pray to go upwards towards a better life in the future, even enlightenment. But because we haven't got anything behind that, we end up going down. So results must follow on the basis of causes.
개바 되거든 봉답지지 부르스 다 현전제는 연대 탐제가 중대수 두배 현전제 마개바 사도 개바지 개스바는 아니 광도 폐 관에 광도 폐라 아니 다 배주 제고에 쳐와 어디다 다 대다 제는 바데 아니 라말에 징글랍도 소하다 발었다는 dana chiwala male kuleta dana tuwe ombol oreta wadena soata an chiwe lama la kule tu tsena ga yesa je tong de ba de ta zin yang ja zhe jan an da na ke ba de to ba ke an du ba ke ba che zhu su sang so wa de che.
And so here we have to understand too that when we talk about the result being in harmony with the cause, that just what we want, just wanting something to be like we want, is not a cause. It's at best a cooperative condition. We have to make changes in our behavior itself to act as the causes for the results that we so desire. And even to attain a positive rebirth, talks about having really stainless ethical conduct, of engaging in acts of generosity, etc., of developing the mind of love, compassion, and so on. These are actual causes that can lead to a positive rebirth. So this is it's important to be able to understand it. And that here, as it says in the text, that in following on from this quote from the Bodhisattva's way of life, we have to see that the attitude of self-cherishing, of self-obsession, really, is the source of all degeneration. And that here, exemplified by being reborn in the cyclic existence and in the lower realms itself, especially, and all the suffering that follows on from that. And that so therefore, we have to take a firm attitude to not generate self-cherishing anymore newly that we haven't generated yet, and to really target the attitude of self-cherishing that we have, we are acting on, and to eliminate that self-cherishing. And then on the other side of the coin, we have to see how the attitude which cherishes others, which really sees the importance of all other sentient beings, is the source from which all good qualities arise. And that therefore we must therefore try to generate the attitude which cherishes others newly, that which has not arisen, and to care for the sense of cherishing others that we have generated, and to promote it and cultivate it and nourish it more and more and more. And that we pray to O Guru Deity, please bless me to be able to make this so. And we make these supplications, and on the basis of that, the Guru, the Manindra Vajradhara on our crown, sends forth the colored nectar lights descending into ourselves and all sentient beings, purifying all negativities and obscurations that we have accumulated since the beginning of time, and in particular the obstacles and the obscurations that block us to be able to do just what we have aspired to do in that prayer, to really get rid of our self-cherishing on the one hand, and to cultivate our cherishing of others on the other.
Da dona tube ombe ran yewarto ran yewarto shen jeba sude da loba lamgi neko so ran yewarto shen jeba sune ani shen do bashi jebe ongo ba zo ba san jeba res da ngaranzo dine shi je yo ba ina toma ba ba yo ba chiba chi jare ngaranzo toma ba ba ne ke wa le de ro da ji ja de da je yo na je ba ina chen ga wa da nga sa chin ne san ge cha yo re ina da de da ma je ba yin da da bo do ha ba wa ba do ko ai chap 대야사 다자게 되면 되는 건지 그래서 어떤 이제 소소들은 답변제 다다 봐도 코아 참 되고 다다도 드레스 되면 이나 다 모든 하줘야면 또 모두 모든 하줘야 다 다리 리바지 팀체는 삽삽지 제체는 치원이 예 남친이 예매 치외제 치마도 강경 미배마 인자 다 리바지 팀체는 다 어서다 보고 말봐 모두 갈간 좀 레사 다 섬로 갈간 걸고서 레사도 왔다 다 레사도 다 리바 dimne 다 삽사자 마제바 예나 딜 라판티 쇼스나 다도 좀 대적을 유된 라판티 쇼 사서나 오 되는 다 내가 가보러 내가 가보러 내가 지금 가면 또 다음에 깨봐만 보이들 하도 그래 깨봐만 보이들 하도 그래 그래도 다 뒤면서 삽사제 되게 뭐래도
And so it said, in brief, when we look at the Munindra, our teacher, the Buddha, who put aside his own purpose and concentrated on the attitude which cherished others, and did that so completely and so fully, and that it led to full and complete enlightenment for him. Now, if we look at ourselves, if we had adopted that same practice, the same dedication as the Buddha, we would have become enlightened ourselves by now. But instead, here we are, still wandering in cyclic existence. And so there's a note of warning in this, to say that we should not be complacent that with our precious human rebirth, that if we don't recognize the extent to which we are dominated by self-cherishing attitude, and that we fail to do any counteract that attitude, and that we may lose this privileged life that we have of having a precious human rebirth, and have to again for eons, eon after eon after eon, to wander in the lower realms and not have this same opportunity again. So we must be careful, and that here it's important to recognize that the death is certain, that the time of death is uncertain, and that the only thing that will be of benefit to us is our spiritual practice, what we have gained, our virtue that we have accumulated. And therefore, it's something here that, to understand that we are not children here. We are kind of adults. We have that human intelligence, and to make the correct decisions. And here it's one of being careful that we don't lose our precious human rebirth opportunity, that we don't let it fall out of our hands due to carelessness. And that means we are adopting the attitude which cherishes others with all our strength, and we're using all our strength to counteract our own self-cherishing attitude.
아니 개마도 권에 권도 줘야고 아니 교를 배주다는 치마이나 아니 미스 된다 된바 차대도 와 딜레다가 쳐지면도 와 된데가 쳐 야고 지지 여바다 파제 샤네 아니 검장의 지지직에서 왔다다 소소소 고고다 되고 와 잡아다 니제 하게 쳐지다 자주가 쓰는 하가 쳐게 자주 가요래.
So yes, that we need to definitely kind of take cognizance here and to be careful. There's this note of warning is very important to say that now, when we still have our minds, when we still have that sense of intelligence, when we're still reasonably fit in body even, to engage in spiritual practice as efficiently and as completely as we possibly can. And what does that mean? Does that mean that it's confined to sitting in meditation and engaging in specific meditations, or entering the temple and so on? No. That here, the Dharma practice should not be confined to that. One should say that in every moment of our lives and every day, we should be trying to cultivate the attitude of love and compassion, and the attitude of developing the mind of enlightenment, wanting to attain enlightenment for the benefit of all others. What is better than that? What is more superior than that? We should not make the mistake that here, we need to use our mind training strength to understand that whatever arises from it, whether it's happiness or suffering, whether it's benefit or harm, that I am able to transform that situation, that I'm not fooled by it in any way, but transform that situation into creating the causes for happiness in the future. And that here is very, very important that I am centered on the causes specifically to develop the mind of enlightenment or bodhicitta. If I'm dedicating my life in this way, so that my life is really suffused with the development opportunities for the development of love, of loving kindness, of compassion, of the mind of enlightenment, and then that makes my life very, very meaningful. And what could be more important than that?
And sing never give in it, sing a pemba to the Yabacha in it, that again, Janju sem Mageva gave a corner on the pair Chibaina, and so Chiva de Janju sem gave Gulutotua. Nowadays, Janju sem give it Gulutotua. And then they draw to by Yimbayina, and Kiawachima de Yago church to be, Tewacha church to be, and let you touch of it. And the get Yana Yan, corner, and Sanjay Komasa that had put my Chilwa.
So here, to be able to use all circumstances, whether I am sick, whether somebody is engaged in harming me, whether I am receiving benefit from another, to be able to use, to see through all of those situations as simply opportunities for my development of the mind of enlightenment, to lay down more causes to attain that mind of enlightenment, and that to develop the extent of that mind of enlightenment newly that I haven't developed already, or to promote and cultivate further and inspire the sense of that mind of enlightenment that I have already established in my attitude, in my mind stream. And so if one is able to do that, to take on all circumstances and to take them onto the path in that way, then the future is going to be very bright in spiritual sense for us, so that in future lives we will be able to reconnect with the Dharma, not only that, with the Mahayana ideal, and to continually further and further move forward on the path, and so that the state of enlightenment itself will no longer be a distant thing.
And then you and once Danda de Casore, Jutube to Indu, and Guga Karichua in there, and it's YouTube to Wachigurata. Was a Taba the Tamjake Jutube to Indu, that Guga Mashoachi to catch a Murtua. That the Guga the short, and Tomara. What is it? Tati Kaja, Marazu Kangeke, Pezuji, the Ketchamurtua, Kana get a Chaboma bush, and a practical Chia Mavachev and the Choke him to and Choyama, and do your Tolatwa.
So we have to see now our current time as the causal time. In other words, this is the season for creating causes, the proper causes in our own mind stream. And that's very, very important to be able to do that and to take every opportunity that arises to create the causes for liberation, the causes for the omniscient state of enlightenment. And that to see that if we fail to take an opportunity, that it is a great loss, it is a great fault for us. And this is for all of us. It's very important that we are doing so. And we have to be very, very careful also that we are not simply mouthing, what is the correct thing to do, or just paying lip service to the teachings, but that we have to back that up with action, with our behavioral changes. Because if not, then it's really pointless. We have to see some behavioral change for us.
And imagine and Kata Chug that the Wasavin and Chukava and oh, Gigantility Yagato and Judgment Chin. And the Wasaya sort of the Shirashna mating switch. There is almost the Wasavin you to the Wasaya Chugoma was about the Tigua. Chug and they want to YouTube tablet Trogua and YouTube television Tamaja the Wasavin Gulachina and a church imagine.
So that if we have that sort of attitude where we're just paying lip service, but we're not, it's not really, sinking down into our heart, so that we really make massive changes in our whole behavior and whole attitude, then we're really fooling ourselves. We can be going around, constantly engaging in judgment over, this teaching, this teacher, that teacher, and that we're actually then, creating negativities in the context of Dharma, which is really silly, Dharma should never be engaged in any kind of negativity. It's only there for the creation of positive virtue on our side, That negativity should be associated with other non-dharmic activities. But here we would be, very much at fault of a very strong self-deception if we were simply to leave our understanding here at the mouth, in paying lip service, and not really integrating it into our lives. So that's why I emphasize this need to be extremely careful about what we do with the information that we have understood. And so because we are in a situation of being in cyclic existence, and so we are denizens of cyclic existence, which means that we are open to all kinds of experience, the good, the bad, the indifferent, constantly, isn't it? And so we are never short of experiences. What we have to really learn is how to respond to all these experiences, so that we see them as opportunities for spiritual virtue, spiritual practice. And this is the most important for us. Okay, so we'll leave it there for today. And again, Geshe Konchok Tsering, and then Sanimala again, Geshe Yeah, so again I was saying next Saturday is of course the 6th of July, which is His Holiness's birthday, and we'll be marking that on the Sunday next week. So we'll be talking about His Holiness's his life and his achievements,
some prayer or something,
and some prayers. Yeah. So we Lamrim prayer. From my two collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort. Sorry. Oh yes, sorry. Yeah, we haven't completed our visualization. And so we continue then with the development at our own heart center of the lotus sun and moon disc mandala seat with the 8-petaled upturned lotus, and invite the Guru Muninja Vajradhara, who is on our crown, down to sit at our heart center. And again with the invocation verse recited 3 times. At the end of the first recitation, O glorious and precious root of Guru, come take your lotus and moon seat placed here at my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. The figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara begins the journey down through our central channel, and at the conclusion of the second recitation of that verse, arrives at the prepared seat at our hearts. And at the end of the third recitation, we have the assurance that the Guru Muninja Vajradhara will remain with us until we attain the state of enlightenment ourselves.
what then the Pema ticket, my indus cut on the Ning Nedan and the Candela Casa, Dojika with Zema chicken, Sil Church, what the show was commission, and the Tala, and the Chico, to bet because to bet Sanga Omonum Mamas or Monument Mamma, so still a quating it, some quarter, and then that too, and that Yongola, and the Casa de Arabas and Nati decent, and you support it, and then Shamdilla, and the Casa de Dedenga, Omayeta, my head of Tata highway that Mashamana is what they did not assume. Now, it was some quoting it, what in the Kumashe. And then that the neck, because the Rangi, that Ninguso, and Lamatuan to because Lamatuan to a chunk, and the Kule, we said to the Rangi Chibone, can't dig about that Rangi Lun Nan Tamjala, and very chubby. Very chubby, and then Rangi that, because of the Tamjak Chamber to New to Sanja Gubatuela, and the chicken. Takaja Lunga is with Gay Tamja Takaja, China Sans or Gay Tamja Janso, something what in the Kubasha, and Taganisha Sosu Subu, that church to be budget, Subu, that to Casata, Subuki, and chicken, that demated and dead. Demated the Subuki and Kariba, the ticket by Charles something, and Jushi Komani Batata, and Queen of Chasu, Chasu something. Taganisha, long Tilly, and Nyabata, Gay and Chabata. And then they can't judge what they do, and going to get this scene, and they got the best kind of sober chats or some such. What the shop. And then mix again that new to Sanjay Komatovala, Tamega Nashi, the Gyan Chishi in Benza, and Tamega Nashi, and Gyan Tamja Jang, Ganga, Tawara Jabashi chat with the Chungsu commercial.
And so then, with the folding over of those petals of the lotus, enfolding the figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara, and that is sealed at the top with the 5-pronged white Vajra. And then it is encircled by the mantra of the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha in a clockwise direction, and then the mantra of Manjushri in an anti-clockwise direction, and then the mantra of dependent origination again going in a clockwise direction. And from that then, light emanates from the figure of Guru Muninja Vajradhara, permeating the petals of the lotus, and indeed permeating through all parts of and every cell of our body, from the crown of our head down through the soles of our feet, and thereby purifying us of all sickness and illness and negativities that we've accumulated since beginning this time, and indeed eradicating all faults, in particular to our being able to engage in spiritual practice, especially to generate the mind of enlightenment. And it deals with all illness in the body, any faults of our health and so on. They are eradicated, and such as the imbalance in our 4 elements, and they are rebalanced, and indeed any fault in our channels, winds and drops, they are regenerated in our body system. In particular, in the major fault for our not being able to proceed in our spiritual practice, and particularly tantric practice, is this attitude of seeing all things with ordinary appearance, and our perception being dominated by ordinary appearance. And this is eradicated. The faults of this attitude are seen and is eradicated and replaced by the perception where we see all things as in pure appearance.
Because the Lama Shaja Sangiri, good the Lenji chicken, Suzu, the Lama Shaja Sang, Suzu Shido to accept the Nenja, Lama Shaja Sang, to the Lenji chicken, Suzu send the Lama Shaja Sang, Tula Jusu, and Rangal Lunga is the Lama Shaja Sang, Kuzun, Kasatu Kuzun to Mo Yeme Chasu, something, or the Netian, because the Lama Shaja Sang share Jusu, so what the Kumasha.
And so then, through the combination of my own most subtle wind acting as the substantial cause, with the body of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body transforms into the enlightened body of the Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, together with the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own body, my own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of the Buddha. And now I see myself as body, speech, and mind as being indivisible from the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. And indeed, also the place that I am in, it transforms into the palatial mansion of an enlightened being. And so now, seeing myself as a fully enlightened being, I emanate countless rays of light from my own heart center out to all the sentient beings in all the 6 realms of existence, and they are spontaneously brought to the state of enlightenment themselves, and the places that they are in are transformed into the palatial mansion of an enlightened being. And this is really wonderful. You know, I have not only attained a state of enlightenment myself, but I have also fulfilled the purpose of others in leading them also to the state of enlightenment. This is something really worth celebrating. And that this leading sentient beings to enlightenment, that the state of enlightenment itself, and me, the one who is establishing this, are merely empty of inherent existence and merely imputed by thought. And from this emptiness arises bliss, bliss into voidness, and we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and voidness. So we can make the dedication of what virtue we have accumulated here, so that this scenario that we have created, and we have created, of course, purely through our imagination here. Of course, one cannot attain enlightenment so easily. But nevertheless, we dedicate it so that it may quickly become actually manifest for us. So we do our Lamrim dedication prayer. From my 2 collections of Dasta space that I have amassed, working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds mystify blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all life's mastery. May I find the best and complete graded path of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means, strong by strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings, with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I hold Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion, whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded path to enlightenment completed, due to the virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children, may all human and non-human beings eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent path. Never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path raised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.
ma ye pa na ge gro she ke pa nyam pa me pa kon ne kon do pe wa sho ka re da we ko le she ma le kan da de wa ma le jo ye me chen re se wa chen se ke so ye sha be se de pa do chen gro she wa me an ze we te che che re True me can go on board John Pell God can go so Song Lord Son Salvation Lord so and me say generous True me can go on board John Pell God can go so Lord Son Salvation Lord so and me say generous True me can go on John Pell God can be so gentle, Lord, Son, Salvation, Lord, so
Great treasure, compassion, not aimed at true existence, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Japani, destroyer of hordes of demons without exception. Sankalpa, crown jewel, the sage of the Lord of Command Slows, lies in Prabhupada at your feet and make requests.